Those pictures aren't about you, Noah. Ethan's voice was so quiet it somehow made the locked classroom feel smaller. Noah stared at him across the teacher's desk, his pulse thudding hard enough to make his fingertips cold. Ethan Walker, the 22-year-old golden boy with movie star blonde hair, bright blue eyes, and the kind of effortless smile that made half the campus forget how sentences worked, placed one hand over the photographs Noah had scattered between them. Then his expression changed. The smile everyone knew disappeared. They're about the person following you. 48 hours earlier, Noah Hayes had been absolutely certain Ethan Walker barely knew he existed. Noah was 21, lean and boyishly handsome, with tousled dark brown hair, gray-blue eyes, and the permanently uncertain expression of someone who had spent most of college trying not to attract attention. Ethan attracted enough attention for both of them. Professors loved him. Students loved him. The woman at the campus coffee shop once gave him a free muffin because, according to her, he had good energy, which Noah considered ridiculous because nobody had ever given him free baked goods for existing attractively. Not that Noah noticed Ethan's attractiveness. He noticed it constantly. That was different. His private crush had survived almost 2 semesters through a disciplined system of avoidance, denial, and occasionally walking the long way around the student center because Ethan was standing near the vending machines looking unfairly good in a navy jacket. It was working beautifully until Tuesday afternoon. Noah had stopped beside the lockers outside the student activities office because someone had dropped a notebook. He bent to pick it up just as a locker several feet away swung open. A thick manila folder slipped from inside, struck the tile, and burst apart. Photographs scattered across the floor. Noah automatically crouched to help. Then he froze. Every photograph was of him. Noah leaving the library. Noah buying coffee. Noah sitting beneath an oak tree with headphones on. Noah crossing the north parking lot. For one absurd second, his brain offered the possibility that another extremely similar Noah attended the same college. Then he saw the folder. Noah Hayes was written across the front in neat black letters. His stomach dropped. Around the photographs lay printed maps covered with circles, dates, times, and handwritten notes. Monday, 3:20. Wednesday, 6:10. North entrance. Coffee shop. Library. Parking lot. Noah slowly lifted his eyes toward the open locker. A small silver nameplate was fixed above the handle. Ethan Walker. Footsteps approached behind him. Noah turned. Ethan stood at the end of the hallway, suddenly motionless. His blue eyes moved from Noah to the photographs covering the floor. For the first time since Noah had known him, the boy everyone loved looked genuinely afraid. Noah, Ethan said. Noah's breath caught for 2 completely different reasons. First, Ethan knew his name. Second, Ethan was staring at the open folder like Noah had just discovered something he was never supposed to see. For 3 terrible seconds, neither of them moved. Then Ethan crossed the hallway faster than Noah had ever seen him move and crouched beside the scattered photographs. Do not touch anything else. Noah stared at him. That is a fascinating thing to say when I am currently kneeling beside what appears to be a documentary about my life. Ethan stopped gathering the pictures. His jaw tightened. It is not what you think. Excellent. Because what I think is extremely weird. Voices drifted around the corner. Ethan glanced toward them, then quickly slid the photographs back into the folder. That tiny flash of panic did more damage than any explanation could have repaired. Within minutes, 3 students had seen enough to start whispering. Within an hour, half the campus seemed to know. By dinner, Noah received 7 messages asking whether Ethan Walker was secretly obsessed with him. One included 3 heart emojis. Another simply said, "Honestly, congratulations." Noah wanted to move to another state. Ethan, meanwhile, vanished. That bothered Noah more than he wanted to admit. He spent Tuesday night replaying the photographs in his head. They had not looked romantic. They had looked organized. Maps, times, locations, notes, written with uncomfortable precision. Wednesday morning, Noah entered the campus coffee shop and immediately heard his name whispered near the counter. He kept walking. He ordered his usual vanilla latte, then noticed Ethan sitting alone near the window. Ethan looked exhausted. His blonde hair was slightly messy, his blue eyes fixed on the parking lot instead of the laptop in front of him. Noah considered leaving. Ethan looked up. Their eyes met. Noah expected embarrassment. Instead, Ethan looked relieved. Then his gaze shifted past Noah toward the window. and the relief disappeared. Noah turned instinctively. Outside, students crossed the sidewalk beneath bright October sunlight. Cars moved slowly through the lot. Nothing seemed unusual. What? Noah asked when he reached Ethan's table. Nothing. You are terrible at saying nothing. Ethan closed his laptop. You should not walk home alone tonight. Noah stared at him. You understand that sentences like that are not helping your case, right? Ethan almost smiled, but his attention returned to the window. Noah followed his gaze again. A dark sedan sat across the street, engine running. He could not see the driver through the glare on the windshield. Do you know that car? Noah asked. Ethan stood. No, too fast. Too flat. A lie. The sedan pulled away before Noah could read the license plate. Ethan watched until it disappeared around the corner. Noah's uneasiness sharpened. Tell me what is happening. Not here. Then where? Ethan hesitated before lowering his voice. Empty classroom in Franklin Hall. For 15 tomorrow. Noah went still. For 15. He had seen that exact time inside the folder. Ethan seemed to realize it at the same moment. Noah stepped backward. That was written in your notes. Noah, listen to me. No, his heartbeat accelerated. You had photographs of me. You had maps of where I go. Now you are telling me to meet you alone at a time you already wrote down. Ethan's face lost its color. There is a reason. Noah backed toward the door. Then tomorrow, you had better give me one. His phone vibrated before he reached the sidewalk. Unknown number. One message waited on the screen. Do not meet Ethan at 4:15. Noah stopped breathing for a second. Another message appeared. He knows what happened to you. Noah read the message 6 times before realizing he had stopped in the middle of the sidewalk. Students flowed around him, laughing, carrying coffee, complaining about assignments, living perfectly normal Wednesday afternoons while his phone apparently auditioned for a psychological thriller. He typed, "Who is this?" The message showed as delivered. No answer came. Noah looked back through the coffee shop window. Ethan was still standing beside the table, watching him with an expression Noah could not read. For one irrational second, Noah wondered whether Ethan had sent the message. Then Ethan lifted his own phone from the table, glanced at the screen, and immediately looked toward the street. Noah hated that this proved absolutely nothing. He spent the rest of Wednesday trying to behave normally and failing spectacularly. He checked behind himself walking to class. He studied every dark sedan in every parking lot. He even changed his route back to his apartment, which felt clever until he remembered that paranoid people probably also thought they were being clever. By Thursday afternoon, curiosity had defeated common sense. At 4:12, Noah entered Franklin Hall. The building was nearly empty, afternoon sunlight stretching across the polished floor. Classroom 214 stood open. Ethan waited inside. He wore jeans, a gray sweater, and none of the effortless confidence Noah associated with him. The folder sat on the teacher's desk. Close the door, Ethan said. That is exactly the kind of sentence you should stop saying. Please. Something in Ethan's voice made Noah obey. Ethan crossed the room and locked the door. Noah's stomach tightened. Why did you lock it? Because someone has already gotten into my locker once. Noah stared at him. What? Ethan opened the folder. Some photographs are missing. How many? 7. Noah moved closer despite himself. Ethan spread the remaining pictures across the desk. You looked at these and saw yourself. Because I am in all of them. Look again. Ethan selected a photograph of Noah leaving the library. His finger moved toward the far edge. Behind Noah, almost hidden by a tree, stood a figure in a gray hooded sweatshirt. Ethan placed another photograph beside it. Noah at the coffee shop. Across the street, reflected faintly in the glass, was the same gray shape. Another photograph. North parking lot. Same figure. Noah's mouth went dry. Those pictures are not about you, Noah. Ethan's voice dropped. They are about the person following you. Silence seemed to swallow the classroom. Noah looked from one photograph to another. You took these? Some of them. Some. Ethan pulled out a map. Red circles marked places Noah recognized immediately. Library. Coffee shop. Student center. His usual bus stop. Every circle is somewhere I saw that person near you. Noah felt suddenly cold. Why were you watching me closely enough to notice? Ethan did not answer. That silence landed differently now. Noah looked at the dates. One went back almost 5 months. Ethan, I was trying to make sure. Make sure of what? Ethan finally met his eyes. Fear lived there, unmistakable and strangely personal. That it was not happening again. Noah's breath caught. Again. Ethan looked away. Noah's phone vibrated on the desk between them. Both men froze. Unknown number. Noah opened the message. It contained only 5 words. Ask Ethan about the red door. Noah looked up. Ethan had gone completely pale. What red door? Noah asked. Ethan did not answer. That frightened Noah more than any answer could have. 5 seconds earlier, Ethan had been explaining photographs and maps with the tense concentration of someone assembling a puzzle. Now he looked as though one harmless phrase had reached through years and pulled something loose inside him. Ethan. Noah turned the phone toward him. Whoever sent this knows you know what it means. Ethan slowly pushed the phone back. Delete the message. Absolutely not. Noah, please. You have been photographing someone following me for 5 months. 7 pictures disappeared from your locker, and now a stranger is texting me about something that makes you look like you just saw a ghost. We are officially past, please. Ethan rubbed both hands over his face. For once, Noah saw no trace of the polished campus favorite everyone else knew. He just looked 22. Young, tired, scared. I cannot explain the red door yet. Noah laughed once, without humor. That is convenient. It is not. Then explain why you said this was happening again. Ethan went still. Noah stepped closer to the desk. Again means before. Before when? Ethan looked at the photographs instead of him. I need to know who is sending those messages first. And I need to know why they think you have answers about my life. Silence stretched between them. Finally, Ethan reached into the folder and removed a photograph Noah had not noticed. It showed the north parking lot 3 weeks earlier. Noah was near the foreground, carrying groceries toward the bus stop. Far behind him sat the dark sedan from the coffee shop. That car, Noah whispered. I saw it yesterday. I know. How? Because I was there. Noah stared at him. Of course you were. Ethan almost smiled. Almost. Then he pointed toward the windshield. A small white sticker was visible in one corner. I noticed that sticker the first time I saw the car in August. Same placement. Same shape. It has appeared near you at least 6 times. Noah felt his heartbeat climb. Why did you not tell campus security? I did. That stopped him. What? Twice. There was not enough to identify the driver, and being parked near someone is not proof of anything. I started documenting appearances because I wanted something concrete. Noah studied Ethan's face. It sounded reasonable. Disturbingly reasonable. Why me? He asked softly. Ethan's eyes met his. For a moment, the room seemed too quiet. Because I noticed you. 3 simple words. Yet something about the way Ethan said them made warmth rise unexpectedly into Noah's face. He immediately resented his own nervous system. That does not answer the question. It is the only answer I can give you right now. Noah's phone vibrated again. He nearly dropped it. Unknown number. This time there was no sentence. Only a photograph. Noah opened it and felt the air leave his lungs. The image was old, faded at the edges, clearly taken years ago. 2 boys stood beneath a maple tree, both maybe 8 or 9 years old. One had messy dark hair and unmistakable gray-blue eyes. Noah. Beside him stood a blond boy smiling directly at the camera. Noah slowly lifted his gaze from the screen to Ethan. Same blue eyes. Same smile. Younger, but unmistakable. That is you, Noah whispered. Ethan said nothing. Noah enlarged the photograph. Behind the boys stood a brick building. Near the edge of the image was a bright red door. A new message appeared beneath it. He remembers everything. Noah looked at Ethan, confusion tightening painfully in his chest. We knew each other? Ethan's composure finally cracked. Yes. Noah searched his memory and found nothing. No blonde boy. No maple tree. No red door. Then why do I not remember you? Ethan swallowed. Because after that photograph was taken, something happened. What happened? Ethan looked at the red door on Noah's screen. Something I have spent years hoping would never find you again. Stop protecting me from my own memories. Noah barely recognized his voice. Ethan looked at him across the empty classroom, and for one strange second, neither of them seemed to know what came next. Noah hated that. He hated the photographs, the anonymous messages, the dark sedan, and most of all the empty space inside his own memory where Ethan apparently belonged. How long? Noah asked. How long did we know each other? Ethan hesitated. Almost 4 years. Noah stared. For years. Our families lived about 3 blocks apart. We went to the same elementary school. Were we friends? Ethan gave a small, wounded laugh. You used to show up at my house every Saturday morning before 8 because you thought sleeping late was a character flaw. Noah blinked. That sounded annoyingly possible. I did not. You absolutely did. Why? Usually because you wanted pancakes. Despite everything, Noah almost smiled. Almost. Then the photograph on his phone pulled him back. And the red door? Ethan's expression closed again. That came later. Noah exhaled sharply. There it is. You give me 1 inch of truth, then build another wall. Because I do not know what remembering will do to you. Neither do I. It is still my memory. Ethan looked down. That landed. Noah could see it. After a moment, Ethan unlocked the classroom door. Come on. Where? Somewhere public. You should not be alone right now. Noah wanted to argue purely on principle, but 20 minutes later, they were sitting inside a crowded diner 2 blocks from campus. The place smelled like coffee, grilled onions, and maple syrup. Normal smells. Safe smells. Noah wrapped both hands around a mug, while Ethan chose the booth seat facing the windows. Noah noticed. You always do that. Do what? Sit where you can see outside. Ethan glanced toward the parking lot. Recently. Another partial truth. Noah let it go. For now. Tell me something I forgot. Ethan looked surprised. Something harmless, Noah added. Nothing about the red door. Ethan thought for a moment. You hated thunderstorms. Noah frowned. I love thunderstorms. Now maybe. When you were 9, you used to call me whenever it rained. That sounds embarrassing. It was. Noah kicked Ethan lightly beneath the table before thinking about it. Ethan froze. Noah froze too. Then Ethan smiled, small and genuine, and something unfamiliar shifted inside Noah. Not memory. Something warmer. More immediate. Noah looked down at his coffee. What else? You collected bottle caps. That is deeply disappointing. You had 47. Why do you remember the exact number? Ethan's smile faded. Because I remember almost everything about you. The words settled between them. Noah did not know what to do with the sudden tenderness in Ethan's face. Before he could answer, his phone buzzed. Unknown number. Noah opened the message. You should not have gone with him. His skin prickled. Ethan leaned forward. What does it say? Noah showed him. A second message arrived. Booth 7. Facing the window. Just like he always does. Noah slowly looked around. Families ate dinner. A waitress refilled coffee. 2 college students argued over French fries. Nobody seemed to be watching. Then Ethan's gaze fixed beyond the glass. Noah followed it. Across the parking lot, beneath a flickering streetlight, sat the dark sedan. Engine running. How did they know we came here? Noah whispered. Ethan was already reaching for his phone. I did not tell anyone. Neither did I. Noah's phone vibrated a 3rd time. This message contained a single sentence. Ask him what he promised you the night you forgot him. Noah turned toward Ethan. Ethan had read it over his shoulder. His face changed instantly. Noah's voice dropped. What did you promise me? Ethan stared through the window at the waiting car. That if you ever forgot me, he said quietly, I would find you again. You promised that when we were kids? Noah asked. Ethan kept watching the dark sedan across the diner parking lot. You made me promise. Why would a 9-year-old think he was going to forget his best friend? Ethan's silence answered before his words did. Noah set down his coffee. You knew something was going to happen. Not exactly. That is becoming your favorite answer. Outside, the sedan's headlights came on. Ethan immediately reached for his phone, but before he could take a picture, the car rolled toward the exit and disappeared onto the street. Great, Noah muttered. Nothing says normal Thursday night like being monitored during pancakes. Ethan looked at him. You did not order pancakes. I am emotionally having pancakes. For half a second, Ethan laughed. The sound surprised them both. Then Noah's phone vibrated again. No message this time. Just silence from the unknown number, which somehow felt worse. Ethan stood. I am taking you home. And if that car follows us, then we stay somewhere public. Noah studied him. You have thought about this before. Ethan slid several bills beneath the coffee mug. Yes. The answer was immediate. Honest. Finally, they left through the diner's main entrance and walked beneath the bright parking lot lights. Ethan stayed beside Noah without touching him, close enough to feel present, but never close enough to trap him. Noah noticed that too. He was beginning to notice far too much about Ethan. His careful glances. The way his shoulders tightened whenever a car slowed nearby. The fact that he always positioned himself between Noah and the street without making it obvious. How long have you been doing this? Noah asked. Doing what? Watching out for me. Ethan looked ahead. Since August. Noah stopped walking. That is when you started the file. Ethan stopped too. Yes. But not when you started noticing me. Ethan's expression softened. No, Noah's chest did something deeply inconvenient. When did you recognize me? First week of freshman year. Noah stared. That was 2 years ago. I know. You knew who I was for 2 years and said nothing? I tried once. Ethan smiled faintly. You walked away while I was introducing myself. Noah covered his face. I thought you were talking to the guy behind me. There was nobody behind you. That somehow makes it worse. Ethan laughed again, quieter this time. For several seconds, the fear loosened its grip. They were simply 2 young men beneath parking lot lights, standing too close, sharing a ridiculous memory Noah did not actually remember. Then Ethan's expression changed. He was looking past Noah. Do not turn around yet. Naturally, Noah immediately wanted to turn around. Why? Someone is standing near the bus shelter. Is it the person from the photographs? I cannot tell. Ethan stepped closer, lowering his voice. Stay with me. The words should have made Noah nervous. Instead, unexpectedly, they steadied him. He nodded. They walked toward Ethan's car together. By the time Noah glanced back, the bus shelter was empty. 20 minutes later, they reached Noah's apartment building. Ethan parked beneath a street lamp. I will walk you upstairs. Noah almost protested, then noticed something tucked beneath his windshield wiper. A photograph. Ethan saw it too. He carefully lifted it free. It showed 2 boys standing beside the same red door from the childhood picture, but this photograph had been taken from behind them. On the back, written in faded blue ink, were 6 words. You were never supposed to remember. Noah stared at the handwriting. Something flashed through his mind. Rain against glass. A red door opening. Ethan's small hand gripping his. Then a voice, distant but unmistakable. Noah, do not look back. The memory vanished as quickly as it came. Noah swayed slightly. Ethan reached toward him, then stopped before touching him. Can I? Noah looked at his outstretched hand. For the first time since finding the file, the choice felt entirely his. Noah took it. Do not leave tonight. Ethan's fingers closed gently around his. I was hoping you would ask. You remembered something. Ethan said the moment they stepped inside Noah's apartment. Noah locked the door and leaned against it, still holding the old photograph. A voice. Rain. Your hand. Ethan went completely still. What did the voice say? Noah looked at him. You told me not to look back. Whatever Ethan had expected, it was not that. He lowered his eyes and exhaled slowly. Then it is starting. My memory? Maybe. Noah hated the uncertainty in that word. His apartment suddenly felt unfamiliar. Every window too dark, every ordinary sound too noticeable. Ethan checked the living room curtains, then stopped himself. Sorry. For what? I keep doing things without asking. Noah understood. Protection could become control if neither of them noticed the line. You can close them, he said. Tonight. Ethan nodded and drew the curtains. Noah made coffee neither of them needed, mostly because standing in his kitchen doing something normal kept his thoughts from scattering. Ethan sat at the small table with the photograph between his hands. Tell me about us, Noah said. Ethan glanced up. You said you wanted answers about tonight. I do. But I also want to know why hearing your voice in a memory felt more familiar than hearing my own. Ethan's expression softened. We were inseparable. That sounds dramatic. You once refused to attend a birthday party because I was not invited. That sounds principled. You were 9. A very principled 9. Ethan smiled. Noah found himself smiling back. It was strange how easily fear became something warmer around him. What was I like? Noah asked. Curious. Stubborn. Terrible at whispering. I am excellent at whispering. You are currently speaking at normal volume. Noah lowered his voice theatrically. Better. Ethan laughed, and the sound loosened. Something in Noah's chest. Then Ethan looked at the photograph again. You always wanted to know what adults were hiding. The warmth disappeared. Is that what happened at the red door? Ethan did not answer quickly enough. Noah set down his mug. There. Again. Noah. Every time we get close to that night, you shut me out. Because I remember what you looked like afterward. Ethan's voice was quiet now. You stopped sleeping. You barely spoke. Then your family moved away. When I saw you again years later and realized you did not remember me, I thought maybe forgetting had given you something I could not. Peace. Yes. Noah stared at him. You do not get to decide whether ignorance is peace. Ethan nodded. No argument. Somehow that made Noah less angry. You are right. Silence settled between them. Then Noah noticed something on the photograph. In the lower corner, barely visible beside the red door, was a painted number. Ethan. He carried it beneath the kitchen light. Look. Ethan leaned beside him. Their shoulders nearly touched. The number was faded but readable. 2814. Ethan's face tightened. I know that address. Noah turned. What? The building was part of an old community center. It closed years ago. Noah grabbed his laptop and searched. The first result showed an archived local article. The photograph loaded slowly. Brick walls. Tall windows. A red entrance door. Noah felt a chill of recognition he could not explain. Beneath the image was the center's former address. 2814, Hawthorne Avenue. That is it, Noah whispered. Ethan looked troubled. We should not go there tonight. Agreed. Ethan blinked, clearly expecting resistance. Noah pointed at the screen. I am curious, not stupid. His phone vibrated on the counter. Both of them looked down. Unknown number. A photograph appeared. It showed the outside of Noah's apartment building. Taken tonight. Beneath it was a message. You found Hawthorne. Noah's breath caught. Another message arrived immediately. Now ask Ethan who was behind the red door. Noah slowly looked up. Ethan was no longer watching the phone. He was staring at the darkened window behind Noah. I know who they want you to remember, he whispered. Noah's heartbeat stumbled. Who? Ethan turned back to him, fear unmistakable in his blue eyes. Someone we both trusted. Someone we both trusted? Noah repeated. Ethan looked toward the curtained window, as if saying the name aloud might somehow invite the past inside. His name was Daniel Mercer. He ran the youth program at Hawthorne Community Center. Noah waited for recognition. Nothing came. Just an empty pressure behind his eyes. Was he our teacher? Not exactly. He organized weekend activities, field trips, tutoring. Every parent trusted him. Ethan's voice tightened on the last word. Noah sat across from him at the kitchen table. And we did too. Especially you. That bothered Noah more than he expected. Why? Ethan hesitated. Your parents were working long hours then. Mercer let you stay at the center after programs ended. He treated you like you mattered. Noah stared at the old photograph. The red door suddenly seemed less like an object and more like a warning his mind had buried. What was behind it? An office and a records room. That is disappointingly normal. What you found there was not. Noah looked up sharply. Ethan stopped. Again. That invisible wall. You promised no more deciding what I can handle. I know. Then tell me. Ethan rubbed his thumb along the edge of the photograph. You found records that did not match what the center told families. Names, dates, payments, transportation logs. You thought someone was lying. About what? I never saw everything. You found it first. Noah frowned. Then why were you there? Ethan's eyes met his. Because you came to my house that evening and said you needed me. Something inside Noah shifted. Not a memory exactly. More like the shadow of one. A bicycle lying on wet grass. Ethan's younger face beneath a yellow raincoat. Noah whispering too loudly, come with me. His breath caught. Yellow. Ethan froze. What? You had a yellow raincoat. Ethan stared at him. Yes. Noah stood too quickly, overwhelmed by the sudden certainty. I remember that. Ethan rose but stayed several feet away. Do not force it. I am not. Noah pressed. His palms against the kitchen counter. I remember wanting to show you something. I remember thinking adults would not believe me unless someone else saw it. Ethan's expression filled with something painful and tender at once. That was exactly what you said. Noah turned toward him. For several seconds, the mystery disappeared beneath another realization. Ethan had carried this memory alone for more than a decade. Every ridiculous detail Noah had lost, Ethan had kept. Why did you never tell me any of this when you recognized me in college? Noah asked. Because the first time I saw you here, you were laughing. Ethan smiled faintly. You were outside the student center complaining to someone about an 8 o'clock class. You looked happy. I had spent years wondering whether you were okay, and suddenly there you were. So you said nothing. I thought remembering me might mean remembering everything else. Noah looked down. That sounds noble when you say it quietly. Ethan almost laughed. It was probably cowardly. Both can be true. Their eyes met, and Noah felt that strange warmth again, stronger now. Fear had brought Ethan into his apartment, But fear was not why Noah wanted him to stay. That realization was inconvenient enough without examining it further. His laptop chimed. An email had arrived through his university account. No sender name. No subject. One attachment. Ethan moved beside him as Noah opened it. The image showed an old attendance sheet from Hawthorne Community Center. Noah's name appeared halfway down. Ethan's was directly beneath it. A third name had been circled in red. Noah read it aloud. Lucas Mercer. Ethan's face changed. Daniel Mercer did not have a son named Lucas. Noah scrolled lower. Beside Lucas's name was a handwritten emergency contact number. He stared at it. Something about the final 4 digits felt familiar. Then Noah remembered where he had seen them. He grabbed one of Ethan's photographs from the table and checked the enlarged image of the dark sedan. The license plate ended with the same 4 numbers. Noah looked at Ethan. That cannot be a coincidence. Ethan's phone suddenly vibrated. Not Noah's. Ethan's. He read the message and went silent. Noah stepped closer. What does it say? Ethan turned the screen toward him. You should have kept your promise, Ethan. Beneath the sentence was a photograph taken through Noah's apartment window only moments earlier. In it, Noah and Ethan were standing side by side at the kitchen counter. That picture was taken less than a minute ago. Noah stared at Ethan's phone, then at the closed curtains, suddenly aware of every inch of glass in the apartment. Ethan crossed to the window, but stopped before touching the fabric. Stay back. Noah almost objected, then caught himself. Fine, but we do this together. Ethan nodded. He moved the curtain barely an inch. The street below looked ordinary. Parked cars. Yellow pools of light beneath street lamps. A couple walking a dog. No dark sedan. No obvious camera. Nothing. Somehow, nothing was worse. Whoever sent this wanted us to know they were close, Noah said. Ethan let the curtain fall. Or wanted us looking outside instead of somewhere else. Noah turned. That was disturbingly intelligent. Thank you. It was not a compliment. Ethan checked the photograph again. Noah forced himself to study it instead of panic. The angle was wrong for the street. The image looked slightly downward into the kitchen. Wait. Noah pointed. This was not taken from outside. Ethan enlarged the image. Both men looked toward the apartment building across the narrow courtyard. 4 floors. Dozens of windows. Someone had a view from over there, Noah whispered. His phone buzzed. This time the message contained no photograph. You are finally looking in the right direction. Noah felt cold. They want us investigating. Ethan frowned. Which means every clue might be something they chose for us to find. Including Lucas Mercer. Exactly. Noah sank onto the couch. So we have a mystery person who knows our childhood, knows my schedule, knows your promise, can access your locker, and apparently enjoys dramatic timing. Ethan sat at the opposite end, leaving space between them. That last part does narrow it down to half the theater department. Noah laughed before he could stop himself. It came out. Nervous and exhausted, but real. Ethan smiled. For a few seconds, Noah simply looked at him. This was the boy everyone seemed to know, yet Noah was beginning to suspect almost nobody knew him at all. Why did you keep those photographs in your locker? Noah asked. Why not somewhere safer? Because I needed access between classes. That is not the whole answer. Ethan looked down at his hands. No, Noah waited. Ethan finally exhaled. There were 2 sets of photographs. Noah's stomach tightened. 2. The investigation pictures, and 3 others. 3 others of what? Ethan's ears turned slightly pink. Noah stared. Ethan Walker, are you blushing during a stalking investigation? This is terrible timing. That is a yes. Ethan covered his face briefly. They were just pictures of you. Noah blinked. Unlike the dozens of other pictures of me, those documented the person behind you. These did not. Something warm and confusing moved through Noah's chest. Why keep them? Ethan met his eyes. Because I like them. Noah suddenly forgot every useful word in the English language. Oh, yes. Oh. Silence stretched, softer this time. Noah remembered Ethan saying he had noticed him long before August. He remembered the diner, the pancakes, the yellow raincoat, the promise. Were those 3 pictures among the missing 7? Noah asked. Ethan's expression changed. All 3. The warmth vanished. Noah sat forward. So whoever opened your locker deliberately took the only photographs that were actually about me. Ethan nodded slowly. And 4 investigation photographs. Why those 4? They spread the remaining pictures across the coffee table and compared dates. Noah noticed the pattern first. Ethan. Each missing investigation photograph came from the same location. Franklin Hall. Their own campus. Ethan looked at him. Someone at school. Noah's phone vibrated again. A photograph appeared. This one showed Noah asleep beside his bedroom window, taken from outside the glass. Noah stopped breathing. Ethan stared at it. "Noah," he said quietly, "I did not take that." A final message appeared beneath the image. "You are remembering the wrong person." The wrong person? Noah read the message twice, and each time the words felt more deliberate. Ethan reached for the phone, then stopped himself. "May I?" Noah handed it over. Ethan studied the photograph without speaking. Noah washed his face instead. "You know what they mean. I know what they want you to think. That is not the same thing." Ethan looked up. "They want you doubting me." Noah gave a short laugh. "You have been helping with that." The words landed harder than Noah intended. Ethan set the phone down carefully. "Fair? No, not fair. None of this is fair. You knew me before I knew you. You knew about Hawthorne. You knew about Mercer. You knew someone might be watching me, and every time I ask for the whole truth, you decide which pieces I am allowed to have. Because there is one piece I cannot prove. Then tell me anyway." Ethan stood and walked toward the kitchen, putting distance between them. Noah followed. "What happened behind the red door?" Ethan gripped the edge of the counter. "You found the records. You came to get me. We went back to Hawthorne after closing. And someone was already there." Noah waited. Ethan said nothing. "Who?" "I never saw his face clearly. But you know who you think it was." Ethan turned. "Daniel Mercer." Noah's pulse quickened. "Then why hide that?" "Because you told me it was not him." Silence. Noah felt the room narrow around those words. "I told you. That night. You kept saying everyone was looking at the wrong person." Noah looked toward his laptop, where the attendance sheet still showed Lucas Mercer circled in red. Like the message. Exactly. A fragment flickered through Noah's mind. Red paint. Fluorescent light. Papers spread across a desk. A young voice saying, "Not Daniel." Noah pressed his fingers against his temple. There was someone else. Ethan stepped toward him, then stopped. "Do not push." Noah's frustration snapped. "Stop telling me what to do with my own mind." Ethan flinched. "I am trying to keep you safe." "By lying. By not making the same mistake twice." "What mistake?" Ethan's control finally cracked. "I believed you." Noah went silent. Ethan's voice dropped. "You told me. You had figured it out. You told me to follow you." "I did. After that night, you stopped sleeping, your family moved away, and I never saw you again until college. So yes, Noah, I am scared every time you remember something. Because the last time you knew the truth, I lost you." The anger drained from Noah almost instantly, replaced by something heavier. Ethan looked away. "I should have told an adult sooner. I should have stopped us from going back there. I was 9, but I have replayed it enough times to invent 1,000 better choices." Noah stared at the young man everyone else thought had everything figured out. For the first time, Ethan did not look protective. He looked guilty. "You were a kid," Noah said quietly. "So were you. Then maybe neither of us was responsible for fixing whatever the adults were hiding." Ethan met his eyes. Something softened between them, fragile but real. Noah wanted to step closer. Instead, his laptop chimed. A new email had arrived. The attachment was another scanned document from Hawthorne. Noah opened it. A transportation log appeared, dated the night of the red door. Daniel Mercer's name was listed beside a departure time of 6:30. Another person had signed into the building at 7:12. Noah leaned toward the screen. The surname made no sense. Walker. Ethan moved beside him and went completely still. Noah looked at the first name. Thomas Walker. He turned slowly. "Ethan, who is Thomas Walker?" Ethan's face lost all color. "My father." "Your father?" Noah heard the words leave his mouth, but they seemed to belong to someone else. Ethan stared at the transportation log on the laptop. He volunteered at Hawthorne sometimes. Accounting, maintenance, fundraising, things like that. Noah felt another piece of the puzzle shift into a shape he did not like. "You knew he was there that night." Ethan shook his head. "Not until years later." "How much later?" "When I was 16. I found an old box in our garage with Hawthorne paperwork inside." Noah stepped back. "And you never told me." "I could not find you. You found me 2 years ago." Ethan closed his eyes briefly. There it was again. The silence. The decision. The wall. Noah felt something inside him finally give way. You knew your father might be connected to this, and you still let me believe the danger came from Daniel Mercer? I never said I was sure it was Daniel. You let me think it, because I did not know what my father had done there. Then you tell me that. Noah's voice remained quiet, which somehow made the anger feel sharper. You do not hide it because you are afraid I might make the wrong conclusion. Ethan looked at him. You are right. Noah almost wished he would argue. I need air. Noah, it is after midnight. Do not. Ethan stopped. Noah grabbed his jacket. Do not tell me I cannot leave. Ethan's jaw tightened, but he nodded. Okay. Noah waited for him to follow. Ethan did not. That surprised him almost as much as the truth. You are not coming? You asked me to stop deciding for you. Ethan's voice was strained. So I am stopping. Noah hated how much that hurt. 10 minutes later, he was walking beneath streetlights with his hands buried in his pockets. He stayed on the busy avenue, surrounded by late-night traffic and glowing storefronts. No sedan appeared. No messages came. Without Ethan beside him, Noah expected to feel freer. Instead, he kept thinking about the empty space at his side. That realization annoyed him profoundly. He did not miss being protected. He missed Ethan, his terrible jokes, his careful questions, the way he remembered bottle caps and pancakes and a yellow raincoat Noah had forgotten. Noah stopped outside an all-night pharmacy and stared at his reflection in the glass. This is extremely inconvenient, he whispered to himself. His phone vibrated. He expected the unknown number. Instead, it was Ethan. I am not following you. I just need to know you are okay. Noah stared at the message, then typed, I am okay. 3 dots appeared, vanished, returned. Thank you. Nothing else. Ethan was actually giving him space. Noah should have felt relieved. Instead, a memory surfaced. Not a fragment this time. A scene. 9-year-old Noah stood outside the red door, rainwater dripping from his hair. Young Ethan was beside him in the yellow raincoat. Your dad cannot know we are here, Noah whispered. Ethan looked frightened. Why? Noah held up a folder. Because his name is in it. The memory snapped away. Noah stopped breathing. His phone vibrated again. Unknown number. A photograph appeared of Hawthorne Community Center as it looked today, abandoned and dark. Beneath it were 7 words. If you want the truth, come alone. Noah stared at the screen. Then another memory returned, sharper than the first. His younger voice behind the red door. Ethan, your dad is not the one. Noah's pulse raced. He looked at the photograph again. Whoever was sending these messages wanted him at Hawthorne. Alone. For the first time, Noah understood something Ethan had missed. The anonymous sender was not trying to stop his memories. They were trying to control the order in which he recovered them. Noah immediately called Ethan. He answered before the first ring finished. Noah, I remember something. Silence. What? Noah looked toward the distant city lights. Your father was involved. Ethan inhaled sharply. Noah continued. But he was not the person behind the red door. Then we stopped letting them choose what I remember next, Noah said. Ethan was silent for half a second. Where are you? Outside the pharmacy on Madison. Stay there. I am coming to you. This time Noah did not argue. 15 minutes later, Ethan pulled into the brightly lit parking lot and stepped from his car looking as if he had forgotten how to breathe normally. Noah had never been so relieved to see anyone. Ethan stopped several feet away. Are you okay? I think so. Can I come closer? That question did something unexpected to Noah. Even frightened, Ethan was trying. Noah nodded. Yes. Ethan crossed the distance, and Noah reached for his hand before he could overthink it. Ethan looked down at their joined hands, then back at Noah. Neither mentioned it. I remembered your father's name in the folder, Noah said. But I also remembered telling you he was not the person behind the red door. Ethan swallowed. Then who was? I still cannot see his face. Noah showed him the message inviting him to Hawthorne. Ethan frowned. They want you there. Exactly. Which means we are not going. Ethan blinked. That might be the most beautiful sentence you have ever said. I am capable of learning. Noah called campus security first, then the local non-emergency police line, and reported the messages, photographs, and repeated appearances of the sedan. They were told not to approach anyone and to preserve every message. For once, mystery movie logic lost to common sense. Back at Noah's apartment, they spread copies of the records across the kitchen table. Noah focused on the transportation log. Thomas Walker had entered Hawthorne at 7:12. Daniel Mercer had supposedly left at 6:30. Why was your father there? Noah asked. Ethan stared at the date. He told me years later that he once found financial records that worried him. I thought he meant Daniel. Noah looked at the attendance sheet. Lucas Mercer. Emergency contact. Matching numbers. Then another memory surfaced. A desk drawer. A handwritten ledger. Noah's small finger pointing at repeated names. A man's voice saying, "Daniel does not know." Noah gasped. Ethan immediately leaned closer. What? Daniel was not hiding the records. Noah closed his eyes, following the memory without forcing it. Someone was using his name. Another image appeared. Young Noah behind the red door. Ethan beside him. Thomas Walker entering the room, surprised to find them there. Then another adult voice from the hallway. Calm. Familiar. Boys, you should not be in here. Noah opened his eyes. Lucas was not Daniel's son. Ethan stared at him. Then who was he? Noah turned back to the old attendance sheet. Maybe Lucas was not a child at all. They searched the archived records more carefully. There it was. Lucas Mercer listed months earlier as a temporary administrative assistant, then later appearing incorrectly on a youth attendance sheet. Someone had altered records using the same name in different places. Ethan leaned back. So my father discovered it too, and came to Hawthorne that night because he was checking the records. Noah's memory clicked into place. We were not running from your father. He found us and told us to leave through the side entrance. Ethan went very still. He was protecting us. Noah nodded. And I think the person behind the red door knew we had seen enough to recognize the records were fake. Ethan looked at him, emotion gathering in his eyes. You remembered. Noah squeezed his hand. Not everything. You remembered me. A different memory surfaced then. Rain. 2 bicycles. Ethan crying because Noah's family was leaving. Noah pressing a cheap plastic compass into Ethan's palm. If I forget, young Noah had said, trying to sound brave, you find me. Ethan had promised. Back in the kitchen, Noah's throat tightened. I remember the promise. Ethan looked away, blinking quickly. Noah stepped closer. Is that why you kept protecting me? Because of something 2 scared kids promised each other. Ethan shook his head. That is why I looked for you. His blue eyes met Noah's. It is not why I stayed. Noah's heartbeat softened into something warm. Then why did you stay? Ethan smiled, nervous for perhaps the first time Noah had ever seen. Because I got to know you again. Noah moved closer until their shoulders touched. Good answer. Ethan laughed quietly. Then Noah's phone vibrated on the table. A final anonymous message appeared. You finally remembered Thomas. Now remember who told him where to find you. Beneath it was a name Noah had seen every day for 2 years. A name belonging to someone still working at their college. Noah knew the name before he consciously understood why. Professor Grant. Ethan leaned closer to the phone. Michael Grant. Noah nodded slowly. Professor Michael Grant taught administrative ethics at their college, advised the student activities office, and had access to Franklin Hall. More importantly, Noah suddenly remembered a younger version of that same calm voice outside the red door. He was at Hawthorne, Noah whispered. He was younger, but he was there. Ethan searched the archived staff records. Michael Grant appeared as a volunteer coordinator working alongside Daniel Mercer. Another record connected Grant to transportation scheduling. The pattern finally made sense. Grant had known Thomas Walker was examining irregular records. He had known Noah. Found them. Years later, when Noah and Ethan appeared at the same college, Grant recognized them before either realized his connection to their past. That is how someone knew my schedule, Noah said. Student advising records. Campus events. Building access. Ethan nodded. And my locker was outside the office he advises. They did not confront Grant. Instead, they forwarded every photograph, message, archived record, and timestamp to campus security and the investigator handling Noah's report. By morning, Grant had been placed on administrative leave while the college reviewed his access and the old Hawthorne records. The mysterious messages stopped. The sedan stopped appearing. Nothing ended dramatically. No cinematic confrontation. Just evidence finally reaching people who could act on it, which Noah decided was much better than trying to become an amateur detective forever. A week later, he stood beside Ethan in the quiet hallway where everything had begun. Ethan opened his locker and removed a thin envelope. There is something you should have. Noah immediately narrowed his eyes. If this contains another map of my movements, I am transferring schools. Ethan laughed. It does not. Inside were 3 photographs. Noah reading beneath the oak tree. Noah laughing outside the student center. Noah holding a ridiculous pumpkin-shaped coffee cup last October. These are the three? Noah asked. Ethan's ears turned pink. The ones that were actually about you. So the entire campus was technically a little bit right. Please never say that again. Noah smiled. Ethan Walker, beloved golden boy, secretly keeping pictures of me. I liked you. Past tense. Ethan looked at him, suddenly serious. No, Noah's teasing disappeared. The hallway felt very quiet. When did that happen? I remembered the kid you were. But I fell for the person you became. Ethan paused. You were stubborn in completely new ways. Noah laughed softly, then looked at the photographs again. I remember more now. Ethan did not ask him to explain. That was one of the things Noah had come to love about him. Love. The word no longer frightened him. I remember making you promise to find me. Noah said. Ethan's eyes softened. I found you. You did. Noah stepped closer. But I need you to understand something. Ethan waited. I am not choosing you because I remembered. Noah reached for his hand. I am choosing you because I got to know you again. Ethan smiled, bright and unguarded, nothing like the polished smile everyone else received. That seems fair. Good. Noah pulled out his phone. Now we need one more photograph. Why? Noah raised the camera and moved beside him. Their shoulders touched. Because your collection is creepy. You are never letting that go. Absolutely not. Ethan laughed as Noah took the picture. For once, neither of them was in the background of someone else's mystery. They stood together, looking directly at the camera. Noah printed the photograph later and placed it inside the old folder. On the back, he wrote one sentence. No more watching from a distance. Ethan added 2 words beneath it. Deal. Always. Noah looked at him. Always is ambitious. Ethan squeezed his hand. Then how about tomorrow? Noah smiled. Tomorrow sounds perfect.